see it clear on your face, JR, Charlie said. Bill Clinton appointed your father, to a position of power. Man, Charlie, do you ever stop praying? Man, Charlie, do you ever stop praying? JR asked. Yeah, man, stop, Brent said curtly. Really, Charlie, maybe he don't want to tell you. How can JR keep a secret? Charlie said. Senior government staffers in public affairs make $250,000 a year. $250,000 is a lot of money, JR, Charlie said. Share with him so he'll leave you alone, Brent grumbled. All right. My father has a potential appointment to the Administrator of Public Affairs in the Small Business Administration, JR said. See, I told you, JR. Couldn't keep a secret, Charlie teased. What? I told you. Your old man is a dangerous man with power. Now would be a good time to back off, Charlie, Brent said. Now, this ain't anything to be ashamed of. Jerry, your dad's moving up in the world, and so are you. Your dad accepts that appointment. Our internship is secure, Charlie said. "6 a.m. JR gets Mary Jo to take him over to the Spirit Club. He's anxious to get away from Charlie. Neatly. He couldn't believe that Charlie was that bound and determined to get him to tell the secret. Anyway, JR figured it wouldn't hurt, because over Thanksgiving, Jim said if he got a government appointment, Charlie would be an economic advisor in between his junior and senior year. He knows that today his father would be tooling around Capitol Hill, drumming up support. He had thought of calling his mother after his statistics file. 7:30 a.m. Central. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Betsy and Kyle are with 8 cattle, getting ready to give birth. 6 of the 8 are in pretty hard labor. So Betsy summons Charlotte and 5 of her midwives to help Betsy and Kyle bring these calves into the world. 9 a.m. Eastern. In a half-empty U.S. House chamber, Jim is listening to Congressman Larry Combest debate with Congressman Joe LaFalce about how the Clinton budget could do more in 1994 to benefit small business. And Jim is taking copious notes. Today at 11:30, Jim is going to a meeting on Capitol Hill to form an alliance with Senators Phil Gramm and Kay Bailey Hutchison. 8:10 a.m. Central. Two cattle gave birth to two bulls. Kyle fought to separate the bulls, but Betsy and the midwives say to wait until the bulls are weaned. Then suddenly, one of the cattle gives birth to a tiny calf. Instinctively, the mother cow took the young calf into her breast to feed it. 9:45 a.m. No, wait. 11:30 a.m. Eastern. While JR is taking his statistics final, Jim is meeting with K. Vandy Hutchison to ask to be an ally with Jim and another congressman about an ally in the House. Not a fan of the Clinton administration's current policy towards small business. "11:05 a.m. JR has been tense all morning because of his statistics final. But now that it's finally over, he sits down in his dorm room to listen to Rush Limbaugh. "One down," JR said. "Four to go," Kevin McDonald said. "It's okay then. You want to join me for the Crockett House for lunch?" JR asked. "I was thinking the snack bar, JR. You always like those cheeseburger specials that they got. And I can get the chicken salad." "No, man, they're serving spaghetti with garlic bread over at the Crockett House. We can have the snack bar tonight." "Smart move. When's your next final?" "I have a final written speech that I have to turn in 4:30 tonight," Jared said. 11:50 a.m. JR is at the Crockett House having spaghetti with garlic bread with Kevin McDonald and Brett Clark. "I wanted to knock Charlie off block this morning for humiliating JR like that," Brent said. Jim knows Charlie just has a complex against his father, and so he thinks JR should have the same thing, Kevin McDonald said. "I have to say, if he don't stop talking about my family that way, I'll let you go ahead and hand it to him," JR said. 4:30 p.m. JR walks into Smith Hall 102 to hand the folder of the 30-minute speech into the hopper. "Congratulations," John McCone said. "You're cruising for an A." JR walks out of the Preston Smith Center for Public Affairs, adjacent to the Tech School of Mass Communications, and walks towards Holden Hall, where Karen Kreider picked him up at 6:30 a.m. 6 p.m. 6:30 p.m. 6:50 p.m. at the Olive Garden. JR and Karen go on what would be their last full official date. I'm not in the best mood tonight. It's all because I got another tongue lashing from my father, from her dad, Jared said. Over what? Charlie Nation did? Karen said. Oh, JR, Charlie Nation is such a pig. You need to grow some backbone. Tell people like that where to go. I wish I could do that, Jared said. But maybe Charlie's right. My father's power hungry. My granddad told my mama that was the main objection he had to them getting married. Why doesn't your mother stand up, Tim? She does. But a lot of good that does. You know, personally, Colin and Christine can have that ranch with all that power in it, because I'm not sure I even want it anymore. And what would you do? I don't know. I've been giving it some serious thought. Might go to law school, while Ken goes to business school here. Then after we graduate, move the hell out of here, go to Dallas. Dallas ain't no better than here, Karen said. Well, I'm off in the fast lane. December 4th, 1993, 3:05 a.m. JR had been up and down all night with a cold. The dressing down from his father and the pressure from Charlie Nation had gotten to JR. 4 a.m. JR is in the library at the Center for Visually Impaired. He's studying for his government final before breakfast. And then we'll go to the foreign language lab sometime around 8:30 to study with the help of Isidro Sanchez. 6:30 a.m. Central. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Betsy and Kyle are helping the foreman feed the deer in the barns. Yesterday, of the 6 calves and 2 bulls being born, 2 calves and 1 bull were able to survive birth. Betsy was crestfallen. She hopes that things are faring better today with the deer. 8 a.m. Central. 8 a.m. Eastern. Jim and Claude dine of oatmeal in the hotel restaurant. Today was a day of sightseeing for them. The Washington Monument, the Jefferson Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, and the White House. Tomorrow, Jim and Claude will attend church at First American Baptist near the White House. Monday morning, Jim and Claude would depart for Fort Lauderdale, where Jim would speak at